It seems like it's been 40 weeks since you got 40 winks. Your back pain? Unbearable. Tossing, turning, trying to find that pain-free position. And that's the moment you realize you can't spend another waking moment putting off treatment.
The Joint and Spine Center is Cincinnati's leading destination for spine care, with a ton of surgical and non-surgical treatments for back pain. So when a moment has the power to change the rest of your life, go to the one place with the power to change it for the better, the Christ Hospital Health Network. This changes everything.
The Pound This podcast is brought to you by the Christ Hospital Health Network. This is the Pound This podcast, episode 621, Shay's Weight Loss Journey, weekly updates.
I want to lose weight, but I don't know how to get started.
What should I meal prep every week?
How do I get those sweet booty gains?
Inspiration for your healthy lifestyle. The Pound This podcast with Amanda Valentine.
Thank you so much for listening to the Pound This podcast. I'm Amanda Valentine. Shay is back. What up, girl?
Oh, hey. It's been a hot minute.
It has been since before the holidays, and I actually have had several messages asking where you were, especially because
I fell off the wagon.
I don't know. I don't know what anybody thought, but I just know because I did a week of kind of best of stuff last week, and then we're on Friday I ran one, and everybody's like, where's Shay at? I'm sorry, next week.
Man, okay. People want to hear from me.
So how's the past couple weeks been going? Or, as far as health, nutrition, fitness, all that stuff, getting through the holidays too. God, we're in mid-January. Holy crap.
It doesn't feel possible. So the past week has been really good. I feel like I'm finally trying to get my life back together as far as taking care of myself, and feeling a little more in control. So I've kind of gone back to the basics on a lot of things that I was doing previously, as far as being in the loving myself mindset rather than wow, you're not eating well, you're failing. So as soon as I change my mindset back to okay, what is loving and caring, then it's a lot easier.
Oh, that's
to make good decisions. Yeah.
Heck yeah. So have you, I know that we've seen each other at Shalates. So we're still doing Pilates together at Shalates.com.
Yeah.
And then still training with Josh at 360. And anything else? I know it's too cold and gross outside to really do anything outside right now.
Yeah, I haven't really done anything else because I don't feel comfortable going to Planet Fitness right now. And then it is very cold. So if it's warm enough out, I try to go out for a walk, not even really for exercise, just to get some vitamin D and some fresh air. But yeah, that's with Josh and Shalates, that's 3 days a week. So when it warms up, I'll be back to walking a bunch.
How is your food going?
Food's okay. The holidays were hard as always. But honestly, it was less of days and days of being tempted by food, because it was, I didn't do a lot with anybody over the holidays this year. So, and then it was easier at work because we didn't have a bunch of people bringing us treats. Normally my break room is just a buffet of bad food. So yeah, but I just feel the past week I've been ready to just be in control of what I'm eating and to feel good, because I could tell over the holidays I just didn't feel that great from eating food I wouldn't normally eat.
Well, and that's actually a conversation I had earlier this week too, was I'm not feeling the motivation. I'm not feeling excited to do this. What makes you get in the mode to be okay, I'm going to restart this, or I'm back, quote unquote, back on the wagon, or I want this for myself. And I had a couple answers, but one of them was, it's okay, well, if you back off a little bit and you really focus on how you feel, how does your body feel? How do you feel mentally whenever you are just kind of scattered all over the place? And usually it's not good. that's why you keep going back to lose weight, feel better, get healthy.
Right.
It's this, back and forth. So for me, it's if I, go more onto that realm or that side or whatever of just like, yeah, I'll get takeout or whatever. And I start eating that way. I'm like, I feel bloated. I feel gross. I feel lethargic. I feel like I don't have as much energy. I just don't feel good in my own body. I don't feel as mobile. I beat myself up a whole lot more. And I'm like, yeah, so it's just easier to plan out my days and eat healthier food and go for a walk and move my body. Just to do anything is better than to feel that way. And I'm like, it's not the sexiest motivation in the world, but it's like, again, the habit of like every day it's the habit you're, presented with, hey, we're getting pizza. You want some? To have that conversation with yourself of like, how am I going to eat if I eat the pizza? If you're like, whatever, I'm going to feel awesome, then go for it. If you're like, I'm going to beat myself up afterwards and I'm going to feel like sleepy and like crap, then maybe you shouldn't. So, I just feel like that's, the not sexy motivation that goes into a meme. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just
well, and a lot of times there isn't like a great big thing that motivates you. So, I mean, right now, really, it's just like I've realized over the past several weeks how much I was like trying not to feel anything, especially like anything uncomfortable. So it was like I was going back to old things where it's like, okay, I want to binge so bad. Why do I want to do this? Like, why am I wanting to binge every night? And it's because if I start feeling anything uncomfortable, like if I'm sad or angry, I immediately was like, okay, let's eat. And then it shuts my brain off and then I'm mad at myself. So instead of thinking about whatever else was going on, I'm mad at myself. So, yeah, all that kind of stuff, like, it's like, no matter how long I do this, I have to work through that again. So it's just coming back to like, okay, I have to actually feel my feelings instead of eating. And then I feel actually way more in control when I actually just feel my feelings instead of binging and then being really mad at myself.
Yeah, and I think that is a thing too. I mean, I'm not a therapist in any way, so take this for what it is. If like it does come down to like you can control this, and whether that's like binging, you can control that versus feeling really crappy feelings. And also part of the conversation I was having earlier this week too, it's like there's a lot of really scary things going on in the world right now. There's a lot of things that have a lot of anxiety. There's a lot of bad things happening in every aspect of life. COVID, politics, whatever, traveling, like everything, like other stuff going on in other countries, everything. And so, but it's like, but I can control that. I can do healthy things for my body to try to make myself feel the best through that. So it's like you can either control that you binge eat or you numb out in some sort of way to shut it off, or can you, again, back to, it's all like in the mindset of like, well, I can make healthier choices for me, as that's my way to deal. And that's, at least I can control what I eat today. I can control how I move my body. And for me, that's a better feeling than to get wrapped up of, especially like I feel like, and even my therapist has told me this too, that I'm like such a fixer. I just want to fix everything. And with everything going on in the world, like I can't fix that. I'm not going to fix COVID. You know what I mean? Like I can't. So instead of feeling paralyzed by it and like, just like, well, I just want to eat this away because I can't fix it. And I'm like, well, I can just do my own little part and that's enough to fix. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so those are not the sexy, fun conversations to have with yourself. And it's hard. Because it's so much easier just to numb out. But then how long are you going to do that for? Till you die?
Right. Well, and also it's like, is that how I really genuinely want to care for myself right now? Like through a pandemic, I want to like abuse my body with food. How about no? Like, how about I actually like love and care for myself through the freaking rest of this pandemic instead, because that feels a whole lot better.
Yeah. But that's where it's really hard to do. Like, like we both have these like on like roller coaster. I mean, if somebody's listened to every episode that we've done in the past year, it's like me and you have both had good weeks and bad weeks. And it's not like once you change your mindset, it's all fixed forever. It's like a constant practice of trying to reshift your brain and go to try to, not to have like toxic positivity or anything, but it's like to just try to do the best. Again, like my whole thing is like the best choice in every moment. And some of those moments like I've had, and I just had yesterday, I was feeling like crap yesterday afternoon of like, okay, I have to feel this out. Like if I keep just trying to be happy, be energetic, do something fun on Instagram or do whatever I'm trying to do. I'm trying to like change that. I'm like, no, maybe I just need to sit here and feel it out. And that's the answer. And I did. And I feel much better today. Yesterday sucked. It sucks to sit there and feel it. But at least I didn't power eat. I didn't do anything that was bad for myself other than just kind of sit there and sit in it. Ugh.
Have to, though. You got to feel it.
I know. And so it's so funny, too, that you're talking about like working on self-love, because the way that I want to talk about this. So we were
talking about your face.
I know. Just before we start recording. And I've like all of these things, like it's overwhelming me, like been slammed in my face by whatever synchronicity is the universe, whatever you want to say, of like, I have to work on self-love, which I totally do. It's because you're doing my hair tonight, because we haven't done it in a long time and my roots are getting kind of bonkers. And I was telling you how much I hate my face. And it has been a struggle for me the past year to not get bangs back, because I liked my bangs because they hide half my face. And I think my face is too oval and big and round, and I hate my face. So I've been trying to, like I have right now, which nobody can see, my hair all the way pulled back out of my face, because I'm like, no, love your face, bitch.
Yeah. I'm not giving you bangs. So you have to look at your face.
I know. It's getting better. I'm getting better with it, but it's just, that's something I've always dealt with. Like I've always just, I don't know. I just hate so many parts of myself, and I feel like that it's a process. Like I feel like I'm getting there. I feel like I'm getting slowly better, and then I'm impatient, and you're just like, just love yourself now.
Yeah, do it now.
But it's just, I don't know. It's crazy. And then when other people say that, like you were telling me, like the oval face is desirable, and I'm like, what?
Yes,
I hate it.
It is the ideal face shape.
I don't know. So it just seems so on me. I'm sure if I saw somebody else, I'd be like, oh, they're so beautiful.
I think your face is a normal size. It's like the dysmorphia that all of us have.
I
You
know.
have a big face. I'm like, you have a normal fucking face.
Why are we like this?
Oh,
Oh
girl,
my
I don't
God.
know. It makes me crazy. Makes me crazy.
But I think that's important, because it's like, you can see a post on Instagram where somebody like talks about how they don't like a part of themselves, but also part of that also feels like, when you're talking about this too, like an ad. Like it almost feels like, I don't know, it feels weird. Like I think it depends on the person that's posting about it. But like if you really, because I think here's maybe what it is. It's like, because you're curating your own thoughts. Like if I wanted to talk about how much I hated my face, and I wrote it in an Instagram post, I thought it all out. I went and re-edited it, and I have it shaped just the way that I want, the message that I want to craft about how much I hate my face. But like us recording this podcast, not to say podcasts are better, but it's just like, or a conversation you have with your friend, is so much more just like brain dump of like, this is how I really feel. I'm not rethinking about how the world views my hate for my face.
Right. And you can't go out and plot it out and make it sound perfect. Like it's just a little more real when you're just like saying it, and you don't have time to like, change the way you're saying it and how it sounds.
Yeah, but it's also, I think, important for people to talk about those things. Like, and I guess, I'm not shaming anybody or saying don't post those things on social media, because I think it is a necessary conversation, because there's plenty of people that you see that you view, and we're all like this, you view as some sort of ideal, or you think that they're beautiful, or they're great in whatever their own ways, their personality, the way they look, etc. And then you see something where they're just kind of like, I hate myself. And you're like, whoa, like, I understand why I hate me, because obviously I'm a dump truck, but like they hate them. Like, what? How could you possibly? We all hate parts of ourselves, and it's all a process, and we're all a mess.
I don't know any woman who completely likes themselves, or even likes themselves very much.
I know, isn't that horrible? It's the saddest thing I've ever heard. I hate it.
Yeah, it's so frustrating. I'm like, I mean, I work with all women, and I mean, I work with these gorgeous women, and half of them like hate their bodies, and I'm like, why? Why do we do this? Like, I'm trying to be done doing that with myself, because it's awful that we all hate our bodies. Like, why is it this way?
I know. That's why I just feel like, I'm purposely every day trying to like focus on like not just my body. Like, here's great things that I've accomplished. Here are things that I like about myself. And like, really, because like once you start saying that to yourself every day, eventually it's going to click and you're going to believe it. So, and this is something I've always struggled with my entire life. I've always felt like that, you know, I'm less than, or something's wrong with me, or if only I had this, then I would fit in this way. And it's like, no, like, why can't, and I don't know if maybe it's just because this is the stage of life I'm in, and this is the age I'm at, and all the life experience I've had leading up to now, where I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. This feels gross. Like, I spent half of my life. I'm in the middle of my life, if I'm lucky, that I don't want to spend the second half of my life feeling the way I felt about myself the first half. I'm like, and that's my choice to change. So why not change it? Like, nobody is coming up to me and like, got a man to your face. Like, you know,
I'm doing that tonight when I see you. I'm going to be like, your face.
I can't even look at you to do your hair.
The receptionist is going to be like,
oh, please, let's do that to freak out your coworkers.
Okay.
You're like, oh, Amanda's here.
They won't even be surprised. Half the time I come up having like these really insane conversations with my clients, and they're like, you always come up and I don't know what you were talking about before, and then I'm really concerned about the conversation you're having. So
that's awesome.
No. Well, but I think that women they hate themselves because we'd be too powerful if we didn't.
Think I'm straight.
I would thrive if I loved myself.
Right? The world better watch out if we all.
I would be too much.
Yeah. Well, and that's where like even you see like there was a news story on TikTok because Lizzo, who obviously is like you would think very body confident, and like she just throws it out there and you're like, hell yes, that she did a TikTok talking about how she really struggles with her body and her self-love. And I'm like, hell yeah. Like even like we all do this to a degree. And then people were roasting her ass for saying that. Like she was faulting everybody, like, oh, like, well, you made us believe that you are body confident, but you're really not. And so you lied to what? She's a human. And thank God she talks about this stuff. Cause even like, as much as you can put that out there, like it's still like in your brain somewhere, like, oh my God. And I think she's even more of an awesome person for having like being that big of a public figure, like being that famous, and especially being famous for part of that being like body confidence and just confidence in yourself and just kind of going out there and plus being insanely talented. That, you know, that you can be vulnerable and real about what you think about yourself. I mean, oh my God, that is power. And that's probably why people probably knock her ass down of like, oh, well, we put you into this box and this is who we expected you to be. So if you stray from that, then we're going to, you know, tear you down for it. Ugh.
Well, it's so unrealistic because nobody really loves themselves all the time, 100%. Like, of course, she doesn't always like her body, and it feels self-conscious about it. Like, I mean, I feel like that's just human.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't care what size or what your body looks like. You have to be conscious of how you present yourself in the world in some way, or because it can be detrimental. Like, if I go out and do this certain thing, can I lose my job? Will I lose respect? Well, you know what I mean? Like, how could you not think about that stuff? And I mean, if somebody didn't think about that at all and presented stuff, if we think they were a whack job, you know what I mean? If they just came out with like this insane, I mean, kind of like Kanye, like coming out with this strong confidence. I mean, let's talk about a couple years ago. Now, I don't even know what's going on with Kanye and getting divorced and all that stuff now. But like, he's just known for like, I'm the best there's ever been. You know, Taylor Swift, sit down. This is Beyonce's award of like, then you're just kind of like, this dude's a wackadoo. So it's like, if you have too much of that confidence, then you suck. But if you know, like, oh my God, then what's there is no answer. Yeah. So just live your damn life.
Right. Feel what you feel. Okay. You know, if you feel confident one day, cool. If you don't feel confident the next day, cool.
Right. I know I have to get off here because I actually have to get to the gym, but I forgot to ask you last time, and we have to follow up on our watching each other's favorite movies.
I purposely haven't talked to you about this in person.
I know, same.
Waiting. Listen, I watched, is it Harold and Maude? Is that what it's called?
That's one of my top 3.
Freaking I was like, of course this would be one of Amanda's favorite movies, but I'm obsessed.
Oh,
I'm
yay!
like, this kid is basically me.
Oh, I was hoping you would like it because it's such dark humor, but it's also
It's
like
a little fucked up.
It is, but it's like, but it's also still so uplifting. Like, you know what I mean?
I
It's like it's a
know.
love story, but it's like so twisted, and I'm like, it's just like wraps everything together where you're just, it's so not conventional in any sort of way, and I love it.
Well, now I'm thinking maybe that's how I'm going to meet my future husband is by going to funerals.
Oh, well, you could.
Just random funerals.
I did see a TikTok last night. They're like, oh, afraid to cry in public? Just go to a cemetery.
Oh my God. Wow.
So I watched Dan in Real Life, which I thought was really good. I mean, I just like love Steve Carell, but like my interpretation was that I'm like, oh, this is this is like more wholesome than I thought it was going to be. Like, because I know you have a dark sense of humor like me. I'm like, oh, Shannon loves this wholesome movie.
You don't think I'm wholesome?
No.
Oh my God. One of my favorite lines from that movie is when that girl is like, you're a murderer of love.
Oh, yeah.
Amazing. Oh my God. I'm so upset that you don't find me wholesome.
Did you think, is that bad? Am I really offending you?
No, I'm kidding.
Okay.
I'm being sarcastic. I don't think anyone would use that word to describe me.
I don't know if people would describe me as wholesome. I think that maybe if you're just meeting me, people, if somebody meets me and have never known me from any sort of like radio background specifically or anything else, they think that people would be like, oh, she's just like shy and she's like kind of quiet. And then like once I warm up, you're like, oh my God, here comes all these insane dick jokes. So I feel like I can portray that of like, oh, she seems so sweet and wholesome. Then like, my God, I mean, where did that come from? Which is my favorite thing. I just love the shock value of stuff. So it's like, I don't know. I think that's the only time I think somebody would really describe me as wholesome, I guess. I don't think I would fit in on Full House. Like
Oh no, girl. Wow. Oh, that would be something to watch.
Oh my God, yeah. If it's just like, you know,
Throw you into
crazy
that
Aunt
mix?
Amanda shows up.
And Amanda, yes. It's my goal to be the crazy aunt.
Oh,
So that like gets drunk at holidays
Oh,
and says
yeah.
inappropriate things in front of the children. Yeah. I mean, I think that's already who I am. So.
yeah. I mean, that's all. I mean, you already are an aunt, aren't you?
Yeah, I am. That's why I get to be the crazy. I'm single. I'm wild. Shoot. They're like, oh, our crazy Aunt Shay. Whoa.
Oh my God, I love it. Yeah. So I mean, I only have one nephew and it's my in-laws. So it's like, I don't get to be as like whack around him because I'm trying to be respectful. But if my brother had kids, which I don't think he ever will, I would totally be whacked around that kid.
Yeah, it's my sisters that have kids and, you just get me as I am.
Yeah, dude, I like it. See,
Mhm.
I did not have a fun, crazy. I mean, I did. I mean, it's crazy in a different way. Not like she's so cool, I want to hang out. Of like, oh wow, that's kind
Yeah, I don't want to be that aunt where people are like, oh, wow.
yeah, right.
People are like, I hope she doesn't come to Christmas.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I hope I'm not that aunt either. But it's like,
Oh my God.
yeah. Anyway, well, I'm glad we got to catch up. I have to run because I have to go work at the gym.
Yeah.
Right. So we'll have to catch up next week and see how it's going and see how we're all coping and living and thriving next week.
Yes, we are thriving.
All right. Have a good week. Talk to you later.
Bye.
For info on health coaching and more, go to AmandaValentineBites.com.